Hello, everybody. I wanted to come on here and give you guys an update on my favorite YouTube channels because I've added some more a few more since the last time I talked about my favorite YouTube channels, and I keep adding more YouTube channels to my list. And I think that's why the algorithm is kind of off with me because there are some where I can see their updates pretty easily, like you have to click on the notification bell and all of those things, and I do that, but I'm still struggling with finding my people, like when they post news videos and things like that. But I think it's because I watch so many different channels that it's becoming hard for the algorithm to keep up or something like that. One of the main types of channels that I like to watch are the van life, RV life, car life kind of people. That makes up the bulk of the channels that I watch, and things like that. But anyway, the so here are the channels I like watching. Where is Brittany? She just recently moved. Let me cut off my phone. She just recently moved out of a schoolie bus, and now she's towing a trailer behind her Jeep. And I like seeing her do the switch because she talks about the ease with which she was able to ride in her mini school bus as opposed to towing a trailer. And so she's kind of, talking on her channel about those changes and how it affects the way that she travels and moves around and things like that. Simonette Nutrition is another one that I watch. He's in Canada, I believe, and he focuses on nutrition, and things like that. He shows his life as I guess, is he a nutrition coach? I'll have to think about that and rewatch some of the videos to see. I don't know if he's an actual coach or not, like official coach or not. But he shows like the foods that he makes before a workout, after a workout, and all of these different things on his channel. Um, there's Trinity Beauty Castle, and she is a business owner, and she does business with hair and different things like that. There's Roots and Refuge. They are a homestead, and they have a farm that they show like how to like they do things like how to start seedlings, what to do as your plants are growing, how to even like organize your farm in a way that would make sense, how to deal with animals on your farm and all of those different things. There's Cheap Lazy Vegan, and she is a Korean vegan who shows on her channel a lot of Korean food that she's made them vegan, and so she shows how to cook Korean food vegan style so that if you are a Korean vegan, you can enjoy the same kind of tastes but without the animal products and things like that. There's Nikki Vegan. She's also she shows a lot of ways to make, I think it's Norwegian food, how to make them vegan, and then she shows a lot of her like day in the life, how to eat when you travel and different things like that. There's Dome Life. I like Dome Life. They are a couple who they tent camp. Well, they started off by tent camping, and now they have a truck camper, and so they are traveling the U.S. in their truck camper, and things like that. There's Kendall Ray. She is involved in true crimes, and so she narrates true crimes stories. She usually tries to. She's even said like she tries to narrate stories that have already been closed or it's been a couple of years. But every now and then she'll narrate a story that's very recent, and the case may still be going on. I like her channel because she also gives to the what is it called? The National Center for Abused and Neglected Children. I'll need to look it up. But she also gives to charity a lot. She gives to domestic violence charities, the charity for lost children, different things like that. There's Bina, her channel, she is more spirituality related. but she does travel. Right now, she's not traveling. She is um, working full time, and so she's more stationary. And she's mentioned quite recently in her channel that she's getting antsy and she wants to travel, but she's more stationary because she says she has goals that she wants to get to, and she needs to be able to work a full time job. A lot of the people that travel in their car obviously can't be, they can't work what you would consider the traditional job, which is traditionally like 9 to 5. You go into the office, and you're sitting there and you're getting your work done and things like that. A lot of the people that I see traveling, have to be remote. And then, even then, it's very minimal in anything that's quote unquote traditional, and things like that. So, she's very stationary right now, which she's saying she doesn't like. There's Timothy Ward. He does a lot of lives, and most of his lives do focus on like daily life issues. I don't know if he's traveling, but I think he started off as a traveler. He left the 9 to 5, and now he gives people like a lot of advice and things like that on his channel. He's, working more towards the inspirational kind of spin. Majority of his channel is live, and he takes questions, comments, different things like that. Sometimes he'll bring a topic. Sometimes he'll just start the live and wait for people to ask him questions and things like that. Um, there is Christina Randall. She's also another true crimes um, um, YouTube producer. There's Adventure Van Man. He's traveling in a box truck. So he renovated a box truck, and he is traveling around the US. Every now and then he will park his truck at his uncle's place, and then he will go to like work on a fishing boat that I think is in Canada and things like that. So he makes money. That's another example of the non quote unquote traditional way of making money. So he will go on a fishing boat in Alaska, um, or Canada, one of those two places. And then he also does something that's called work camping. So the national parks hire people temporarily, especially during the high seasons, which are usually like the summertime. So they will hire people that do work camping for them. And then as the seasons kind of slows down, then all those people kind of go home, and some of these national parks will actually close a lot of their anemones, and so people don't necessarily stay there and things like that. I think it's Florida that gets a lot of the up north people, like they come down south to places like Florida, and they call them the snowbirds. Those are they kind of come to like Florida and places like that so that they can, move with the weather and have better weather. But he does work camping, and he does the fishing. And so he, on his channel, I've seen him encourage people to look for work camping jobs if they are also nomads on the road and they don't want the traditional type job, because the traditional type job will slow down the travel that you're expected to do, because you have to find Wi-Fi and do all that stuff if you're remote working. There's Broken Pippa. She's with her dog Pippa, and she is, how do I describe her? She's traveling. She doesn't show a lot of the travel part of her life. She does a lot of commentary. She does a lot of talking, a lot of education type videos on how to get on the road, things to do on the road. When you have a dog on the road, what that looks like, that kind of stuff. She recently started a vlog channel, and so she just, she'll sit and she'll answer questions and she'll vlog about the thoughts that she's having, and things like that. There is Van City Van Life. He's in Canada, and he lives in his van. He renovated, and he travels all over Canada. And so he shows like what the summer looks like in Canada, He talks about the ease of camping and things like that during the summer versus the winter and the struggles there. Things that he's put in his van to accommodate the two weathers, the two extreme kind of weathers that they have, and things like that. There's Grace and Grit. That is a homeschooling mom, and she talks about she homeschools her kids, and she talks about what homeschooling looks like at her place and some of the activities that they do, some of the struggles that they've had, and different things like that. There's Rooted in Rest. I have not seen a video from her recently. I need to go look it up. And that's what I mean by sometimes my channels that I like kind of disappear. And I'm pretty sure she's posted something, but I just haven't received it. But she's another homeschooling mom. And so she talks about the same kind of, how to homeschool, how to get started, how to stay focused and keep that going, all of that kind of stuff. She talks a lot about her faith. Grace and Grit also talks a lot about her faith and how she incorporates it into her homeschool and the things that the both of them talk about, the things that they hope that their kids will learn from it. From watching these two channels, okay, I've watched other homeschooling channels. I just haven't written them down because I like to kind of watch for a while to see if I'll actually like the channel. I still leave likes. I don't necessarily subscribe and things like that unless I'm sure. So I've been, when you watch like one channel on something, more pop up, and that's what's been happening for me. So I'm looking through them. But from watching these homeschooling channels, I'm like, okay, there's something to homeschooling. There is something to homeschooling. I'm just really sad that it's not going to be sustainable for a lot of the families, especially here in the United States. It's not going to be sustainable for a lot of the families because when you look at it, the idea that the kids are home with you 24 hours, that means you're not working, right? I have watched, there was one channel that I came across my YouTube feed, and it did have a mom that is working. So she works like an overnight shift. And I'm not sure if she lives with her mom or who she lives with, but she lives with somebody that is with the kids overnight. And then she comes home and then she rests and then she does homeschooling and then she goes to work. But can you imagine how many people would be able to do all of that? That's just a lot, right? But homeschooling, there is something to homeschooling that I think that some of these families have, kind of figured out what sacrifices they would need to make. Some of the sacrifices I'm sure are huge and things like that. So, but homeschooling, I like homeschooling. I used to have doubts about homeschooling until I started watching these channels. There's Eamon and Beck. They travel a lot as well. She just went through a health journey with finding out that she had cancer, and she took all of us, her viewers, through the challenges of treatment, decision making, and all of those different things. I just remembered another channel that's Crocs in the Kitchen, and they're going through a cancer battle right now in the kitchen. Let me write that down. Then there is Life with Anthony. Anthony travels in his minivan, and he's traveling all around the U.S. Every now and then he'll have his friend Lamont on the channel, and that is the best part. it's hilarious when the two of them get together. But then, so there's Life with Anthony. He, like I said, he travels around the country. When you hear him talking and you see him doing all of the like cooking and things like that you have to do when you're traveling the way that he does, you kind of get to see a good idea of once somebody decides they're going to leave their 9 to 5, all of the things that they have to anticipate and think about and things like that. He does a lot of cooking on his channel, where he either cooks in his car or he cooks outside. He opens like the back of his trunk and he kind of cooks on the outside of his car and things like that. But he does a lot of cooking. He does hotel stays. Sometimes he'll go to the RV shows and things like that. There's Acres Home. Acres Home is another homestead. She does a lot of cooking as well, a lot of how to preserve food, how to. They just started a garden that she's gonna show. She just recently had a baby, so she talks a lot. She talked a lot about postpartum, but her main thing is homesteading, farming, and cooking and preserving and things like that of food. Fathering autism is another one. I love watching Abby and her family. Abby's autistic, and they show the challenges that they've had starting from the time she was young, like trying to get her the services, the appropriate services that she needs. She's in Florida. And so one of the things that I found out, about Florida is you can take the calculated amount of money that your child is supposed to get. Like if your child has special needs, every child in the United States in general is allotted a sum of money for school that's paid to the school. And so in Florida, for kids who have special needs, their family can take that allotted money and use it to further their education in other ways. And so, for example, they can pay so instead of the kid going to the public school itself, they can pay for people to people to come to the house. They can pay for them to have more OT, PT, all that kind of stuff. And so the family can kind of choose the kind of education they would like to give to their child. I like that idea. I really, really like that idea. And it seems like she and her family are doing very well. I know she's either graduated high school already or is supposed to graduate pretty soon. I think she did graduate. No, I think she's graduating pretty soon. And so they're trying to figure out, like, what will she do after graduation. One of the things I've noticed is that families who have children with disabilities, that's the struggle that they have to deal with, is to figure out, like, after a child graduates high school, what they're going to do with that child. Like, how are they going to keep them occupied? How are they going to keep them learning? How are they going to keep them productive and doing something meaningful and things like that? I know that there are two families that I follow. I usually see their videos on Facebook. It's Jordan, and she does a lot of t-shirt creation. So her family created a company for her, and they do t-shirts that have, like, really good quotes and slogans on them. And then there's drawings by Trent that he like, you can tell him what you want him to draw, and he does, like, cartoon like drawings of exactly what you say. So you could say a hippopotamus wearing high heels, and he'll draw a hippopotamus wearing high heels. Like, you'll be able to tell that that's what he's drawn. So that is his company, and things like that. He has merchandise that has things, printed, his drawings printed on them, and different things like that. So that is something, I haven't thought about much. Is like, once a kid with a disability graduates from high school, they can't always go into the traditional workspaces. And so what do they do? So that's a good question to keep, a good thought to keep in mind. There's Brian Mysteries and Adventures on Trail. So he does videos about lost people that have been lost while they were hiking, whether it's in a national park or somewhere, or a city park where they've been hiking. It's mostly national parks that he does. And he just tells stories about either them going missing, being found, different things like that. Then Crocs in the Kitchen are a couple who the wife is going through a cancer battle right now. And they're such a sweet couple. So I really wish the best for them and things. So those are my favorite YouTube channels. Leave in the comments and let me know if you have your set of favorite YouTube channels. Anybody you think I would be interested in watching from hearing my selection. I'll be more than happy to hear from you guys. I hope you're having a wonderful day. And I'll talk to you all later. All right. Bye.